And welcome everybody to This Is Difficult, coming to you live from the space station. As you
by
can tell,
space station, he means, the East Coast.
The
I'm 2 months
international
behind. As we pass
space
Mars
station.
by now, I am 2 months behind you all. It's so cold out here and lonely.
It's
I am at my
lonely
parents'
out in
house.
space.
At my parents' house this weekend, guys, so I have the shittiest camera ever. Enjoy. Look at these amazing headphones. Wow, these are Beats by Dre. Welcome to This Is Difficult podcast, where we talk about video games and other random ass bullshit, apparently. Look at us. Not even talking about video games once yet. I am your co-host, Lord Yeshua. It's Josh in the flesh. Damn it, I try not to say
At least you didn't say ooh.
But
then you
Then I blew it. But, oh my goodness, I forgot what I was going to say. We are on Ryugami-san's channel. That's Paul right over there in the flesh. Wait. And then we got another letdown. It's Zach himself. No more. All right, I'm done. We got a big show for you guys today. Lots of fun shit to talk about. Pass it off to Paul and see what he's got in store for us.
Yeah, well, same as always, boys. We had a week off, right, because of the holiday. Us here in the States, we celebrate our freedom from the, some of us. I don't know. Honestly, whatever. It's a day, I don't know. I still think it's worth celebrating.
It is a day.
There's certainly things that could go better, but also we're still better off than we would be, in a lot of situations. So,
and my dad put it really well. He said, any excuse to do a cookout with your family is a good excuse to enjoy some time, to enjoy it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Compared to 300 years ago, this America is doing a little better, I'd say. But
yeah, I mean, we've made a lot of progress. We got a long way to go, but we have made a lot of progress. But this is not a political show. Let's move on.
We no longer murder people in the streets. We're really moving on up.
Well,
just kidding. I'm done.
Okay.
Everything else is fine.
Timestamp that.
All right.
Anyhow, how you guys been? Have you been playing some games, hanging out, doing fun things?
Yes.
Josh, why don't you start? Because you're on the space station.
I'm on the space station. Yes, it's gonna take a month just to get my sentence. So I have been playing a lot of games. Life has been all over the place, this and that and stuff. But gaming a lot. I'm getting back into streaming, which is nice. Thanks for the inspiration there.
Dude, I'm so happy to see you back on stream a lot. Like, yeah.
That's nice.
Especially when you stream during the day, because I can watch you while I'm working.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's most of what it's going to be.
Sure.
That's most of what it's going to be, honestly, because I go into work later and I'm off like Monday to Wednesday. So like those days and then any mornings before work, I'll be streaming. So
nice.
Let's see. We've been doing a lot of gaming. Me and Colin started Super Mario 64 co-op mod, and we're going for 120 stars. Amazing run, super fun. There's a small caveat. Our mod, master, I guess, just told us he's replacing all the cores in the mod
Spicy
loader,
Wolf.
which is a good Spicy Wolf, yeah. So it's a good thing. It's like, okay, it's going to be like totally enhanced mod loader soon. But Colin's like, we're probably going to lose all of our data. Like, no, we just fucking got to like 75 stars. So
you shouldn't, because no, because it's still gonna pull the save file from your ROM. It's the only thing that's gonna change is the emulation core. So
okay.
If that's true, then it'll be nice. Yeah, Colin was unsure if it was gonna like.
You shouldn't.
But
unless he has stuff like saved on like servers or something. I don't know how he does it, but
I'm not sure.
Typically, what it would be doing is. Like all he's changing are the emulation cores. So from what it sounds like, anyway. So you're still pulling from your same files that you're running the game from.
Okay.
Should still be the same save files.
But that would be. I would even
than like the Retron getting a firmware update.
Right. Exactly.
Either way, I wouldn't even mind getting the stars again. It was a pretty fun run. But that'd be cool. Yeah, so we did that. We did a little bit of Elden Ring in the last few weeks, but we're kind of slowing off because we're getting to Millennia territory, and it's getting kind of fucking insane. But we beat like the Fire Giant and everything. Like we're crushing it right now. What else? The big one for I'll say all the other ones first. Played a lot of Mario Kart, Smash Bros, Donkey Kong. Like really been running through games. What was the big one? There was another one I streamed. I cannot remember. Whatever. I'll skip it. Can I even mention it, or should I just wait till the review?
You can mention it. Yeah.
Mention it. So I did get on June 30th. We had the release of the Cuphead Delicious Last Course, the DLC. God, they're clever.
Woo!
No one else ever calls their DLC something else. I think it's hilarious. Just shows the care they put in. They want you to be really interested. But I'll be reviewing that in a sec after everyone's done talking here. And I will say, without spoiling too much, it's the best thing I've played aside from Elden Ring in 2022. And I'm not even sure it's worse than that.
Yeah.
So that's absolutely incredible. I'm going to be excited to review this one.
Well, Paul, he still hasn't played Ninja Turtles. So
I was just about to say that. Like, still hasn't played Ninja Turtles.
My buddy was like, I'm going to buy it for you so we can play it. And I'm like,
I'm buying it for my brother.
It's the best game.
It's so good.
It's apparently extremely good. I know you guys talked about it and gave it a huge score already, but
Josh,
I need to get that.
If you play it on stream, if you can play it on Friday, I'll be around. I can play.
Oh well, so that's the thing. I'm not going to be back until like the 20th either.
Oh okay.
If I get a stream in, it'll be on Colin if he's like wanting to go live, and we can do like some co-op with the Switch.
Up to 6 players, man.
It is up to 6 players.
So I could always join your game, and you could go live.
I could. This is true.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, so I do need to play that. That's on the list. That and Tunic, and then some old Super Nintendo games are on the list for games I need to play right now.
Tunic's a cool game.
Tunic is cool. Really glad to be back into Cuphead, though. It is totally rejuvenated for me. I'll explain all of that during the review, but damn, the game is so fire. And then, yeah, just a bunch of other random games. I brought my Switch with me, so I have like a shit ton of games I'm just going to run through here. And
nice.
Yeah, just, I'm literally here for 10 days, so. Woohoo.
Nice.
And then who's next?
Zach, how about you, man? What you been up to?
So I played a bunch of stuff, mostly just putting ribbons on things, trying to get my stuff in order before the tiny human. So I'm just kind of crossing off things that I've left in limbo in one way or another. So finished Mass Effect 1. I think I mentioned that last time. Moved on into Mass Effect 2. And I'm actually playing that one, like doing all the stuff because it is my favorite in the franchise. We finished Gears Tactics finally. We got curb stomped our first time through the final boss level, and then absolutely rollicked him our second time through. It wasn't even close. I think all 4 of our cogs were at full health when we finished. And then we played some of the end game stuff. It's cool, but it's not worth streaming. There's no more story to be told there. It's just kind of some randomly generated, like procedurally generated levels. And no disappointment. It's fun. We'll probably play those just together off stream. But yeah, it's good to have that one done. I don't know if I ever mentioned that I finished God of War, but I've been playing a little bit of the side stuff in that just to keep my feet wet. Very excited about the announcement that came out last week that in November, I believe the 8th, very early November.
Yeah.
I wrote it down.
8th or 9th. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 8 November. We are going to see God of War Ragnarok. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
Especially the fact that, it's a PS5 drop, so it'll be hopefully optimized for PS5 as opposed to just a PS4 game ported in. So I'm very stoked about that. And then just yesterday, so my wife and I have been dealing with a very sick pet. Our cat has had seizures over the weekend. He's home and resting now. Everything is well as it seems. But in my emotional roller coaster yesterday, I decided to play an old favorite to sort of recenter my brain. I played Metroid 2 all the way through start to finish.
The whole thing?
The whole dang thing.
Well,
I did see that you had finished it, but I didn't realize that you did it all in one swing.
Yeah, I did it all in one sitting.
Damn.
It took me a little bit longer than I'd hoped it would, mostly because there's no map and there's no like if you miss a drop somewhere or use too many missiles on a boss, you're just screwed and you have to backtrack long way.
It took me like 15 years to beat that game for the first time. No joke. Because I got so freaking stuck at this
all
one spot. I had like 2 Metroids left that I had to kill and I couldn't fucking find them.
So you can't see that, but like I've written notes around the edge of this envelope
Yeah.
of which enemies drop which stuff.
That's how it used
just-
to be.
Yeah.
You used to have
Well, there
like,
used to be a
literally
little
write
note
things
section
out.
in the back of the manual just for those purposes.
Yeah.
I
I actually looked up the manual.
Oh,
I actually looked
yes.
up the manual so I could have the names of things. And yeah, there's notes pages even in the PDF, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But yeah, it was really cool to have. So like within the last couple of months, I've beaten all 5 mainline Metroid games.
Insane.
And I remember them all, and I can now confirm that my rankings when we did the Dread review, go back to that video and find out, are exactly as I have them. I've also been watching a ton of. I'm back working at the store again, so I've been watching a ton of just like ROM hacks and stuff. So I watched. Shout out to Twitch streamer Oats and Goats. I watched him do. I watched.
That's a good name.
I watched. That is a good name. I watched him do Super Metroid Impossible, Kaizo Super Metroid, and I'm currently watching him do a randomizer that one of his chat members put together, and he is extremely frustrated, and it's quite funny to watch. But it's really cool to watch just some of the oddball techniques that are built into the original Super Metroid cartridge that you don't have to use in a regular run, because everything's just set up for you in a specific way. Oats does some really cool like pause manipulation stuff, especially with the spring ball that allows him to jump a little bit higher with the spring ball. It's really kind of cool, and it's stuff I want to try next time I play Super. Nice. Comics and Coffee in the chat says it's time to do Metroid Prime with the rumored remaster. Yes.
Yeah. What? Rumored remaster?
Yeah, there's a very, very strong rumor that they're
love
remastering the first 3 Metroid Prime. Is there only 3 Metroid Primes?
I'm hearing the word remaster, and I'm already kind of over it, if I'm being perfectly honest, because we got a remaster. You're remastering a remastered game?
Whatever. I just want to play it.
Well, like, I mean, they're putting it on Switch is the point, yes. Josh. Like,
yeah, I get it. Yeah. So you know what this tells me is that the GameCube store is just so easily possible. They're just like fucking with us now. Also,
it could be, but like I'm really looking forward to.
I'd rather have one remake of Metroid Prime 1 than a remaster of all 3, if I'm being perfectly honest. But it will be nice for people to be able to play these. That also means that 4 is like right there, if they're giving us the original 3.
Yeah, I bet you we see 4 in like summer or like late summer or holiday season next year.
Could be a March.
That's my guess. Even, yeah. I doubt it. I think they're gonna come out swinging with Zelda next year, and then they're gonna end the year with Metroid. Yeah.
I really don't think we're gonna see Zelda until we get the announcement for the next Switch.
I think that too, but I think they're also going to announce the next Switch next year.
An interesting thing came out
but maybe not.
An interesting thing on Gear Up the other day. Alex had only ever played Metroid Prime 1, and he had no idea up until the very end of the game that Samus was a girl.
Are you kidding me?
I was like, dude,
look at her suit.
Did you live under a rock?
Well, that's like, so funny though, because it's like we all went through that, right? Like you know, when we were kids.
In one of the originals, you die and you see,
regular
girl.
Yeah.
But,
First Metroid was when I found it out.
I awkwardly contorted my leg up onto the camera so that Alex could take a good look at my tattoo.
Look at her
armor.
I thought you were being sexy or something.
Clearly, no.
Yeah, I did it first too.
I mean,
you're like, look, boobs. Understand now?
There's well, more accurately, like hips, like in the Dread armor. It's the hips.
Oh yeah.
But
my favorite is probably the Varia suit for Metroid Prime because it like accentuates like all of her aspects, but it still makes her look like a badass warrior without being too like sexually implicit.
I think they do that in general with her armor in the later games, and I think it's awesome.
True.
Yeah,
like from Fusion on, they do that.
Oh, dude, even Super. Look at the cartridge art and stuff for Super.
True. So different. Yeah.
Anyway, so that was the extent of my gaming. Although I did take an inventory of the games that I have that need playing. And I did also purchase the Mega Man X and Mega Man collections for Switch. So I'm kind of stocking up on Switch games, especially for when the tiny human gets here, and I need to, run away, hold her, just you know, get Screaming Baby out of mom's hands for a minute.
Luckily, the Joy-Cons are hands-free, and you just
Exactly.
you're just playing Let's Go Pikachu with one hand and burping the baby with the other hand.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So we'll see how things go with that. Obviously, I obviously with an infant and my already hyper aware of how blue light impacts eyes. State of being. I don't want to expose her to too much screen time, but we'll see how it.
Yeah, we're gonna be blind by the time we're 40.
I know, right? There's a reason why I never take these yellow glasses off.
Oops. At least I use a TV as my streaming monitor, so it's not horrifying.
Yeah.
I don't really get any blue light that way if you think about it.
Yeah.
I'm staring at 6 monitors all day.
Yeah.
Speaking of, Paul, what have you played?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I didn't do a lot of like personal game time per se, because I've just been busy. I had done a little bit of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I think I might have talked about that last time. I don't really like it. The only reason I've still continued to play it is because it's Vikings, and but Assassin's Creed games play like shit. Like at least this one does.
Insanely.
Yeah,
they all do. They forgot what they were like, and they're just trying to like maintain that original like genre of combat into other themes, and like it doesn't flow. Like it's literally like
it feels so weird and awkward.
Yeah, if you're an assassin, then this makes a great sense for a game. But like you're opening up the concept to like open world and like other stories, and it loses the meaning of like what the game is trying to be, I think. And it's done that since
the Valhalla thing, like the Viking thing makes 0 sense in the Assassin's Creed.
Just one of them happened to be an assassin. Is that literally it?
No. So one of your homies went on like a raid to like the Middle East and came back with some like Assassin's Guild people.
Oh, you're hung out with Altair and shit?
Yeah. And so, like, those dudes, like, hook you up with the Assassin's Blade thing, and they're like, oh, you're an assassin now. And it's like, what? This doesn't
You're like,
make
cool,
any
I
sense.
have a big axe that I can crush a skull with my bare hands because I'm a Viking, but yeah, I'll take a tiny blade that I need to hide from people.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
What? Is that like the opposite of Viking culture? But okay.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that they do is, like, so the assassins all wear it underneath, right? And they've got their that finger cut off for it.
Yeah.
And
I love that.
like when they give it to him, he's like, "Well, I'm not cutting my finger off. That's so stupid." And they're like, "It's a tradition. We didn't." And he's like, and turns it around and has it on top. And they're like, "Well, you're supposed to keep it hidden." And he's like, "Why? Why would I hide this?"
What the fuck? It's both funny, but it's also stupid because like the whole series is based on that. Like the hidden blade is like the signature like weapon of the series, obviously.
Yeah.
To make that, just to make fun of it is like, okay, you might as well just have a gun. Like with no silencer. Like
it's ridiculous.
So
but
ridiculous.
I finished Dragon Ball Z Legend of the Super Saiyan on stream finally. That was fun. I got the special Super Saiyan Vegeta ending. So that was cool.
That's awesome.
This Saturday, my wife's family came over and we had a barbecue, and like our little nephews were here, and I was thinking back on like all the family gatherings that I got dragged to when I was a kid, and how shitty it was unless there was a Super Nintendo there. So I busted out the Super NT and set it up for the nephews, and they just kind of started playing a bunch of different games. And actually, funny enough, they ended up landing on the game they played the most was Dragon Ball Z Hyperdimension, which was a lot of fun. So played some of that. My 8-bit do, or 8-bit do, I don't know how the hell you say it. That was its final hurrah. Like this thing, it bricked itself. I don't know what happened because it didn't get dropped or anything. Like it was working.
Bricked.
It was working fine all day. And then the following day, I went over to Adam's house and brought the Super NT and, tried hooking it back up and it wouldn't work. And I tried putting it on chargers. It won't take a charge. It bricked. So I ended up ordering another one and it showed up today. So bummed that it's not the same color scheme,
Yeah,
Like,
the Super Nintendo color scheme is dramatically superior.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Game Boy Color scheme, but like, I wanted the Super Nintendo one, and then I don't think they even make it anymore.
Oh, that sucks.
But,
I'm glad I got one. I did.
Yeah, it's silly. But Adam and I played a bunch of games too on the Super Nintendo, and that was a lot of fun. We played a bunch of we played a bunch of bullet hells, which is typically not what we would do. It's certainly not my first choice of gaming. But we had a lot of fun with it. We played like Phalanx and UN Squadron, and I'm trying to think of some of the other ones.
Have you ever played Total Carnage on the Super?
Maximum Carnage? Or no?
Maybe it's Maximum Carnage.
Maximum
it's a top
Carnage
down
is...
where you can shoot in any direction.
Yeah, that's probably Total Carnage. I have not played that.
Look who it is.
Backwards. Hi.
Yeah, not the best camera. Okay. Not the best camera, mother.
It's not the equipment.
We're live on television.
This is the house where Josh's love of video games began.
That's fantastic.
That's true, actually.
Okay.
That is
Where
so
I would
cool.
hide myself in my room,
Okay.
forget to use the bathroom for 10 hours at a time.
Enjoy.
Your mom is lovely.
Anywho, there's the
That's so
Yeshua
funny.
family.
Mama Yeshua. But yeah, we played a bunch of games. It was cool. And then we ended up playing First Samurai, which I think was originally a PC game that got ported to the Super Nintendo. And I honestly think it's fucking awful, but Adam was having a great time with it. Like, he was having
the Last Samurai?
No. This is way before Last Samurai, right? It's a Super Nintendo game. But it's very strange. Like, it starts you out in like, obviously like ancient Japan, but then it immediately like shoots you into the future, and you're like on some like weird fucking demon train, and then you end up in like,
Katana Zero.
the year 2020 in Tokyo, but it's all.
What the fuck? The
I
year
don't know, it's
2020.
crazy.
There's no way we'll make it to then.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's weird how many things predicted that's like the end of the world year.
Yeah,
And like how
sure.
many games and movies and shit are like in the year 2020, the world will be an apocalyptic. We're like, oh yeah, oops, that happened.
Yeah, it was pretty nuts, but yeah, it was fun. So yeah, that was pretty much my last couple weeks of gaming.
Oh yeah.
No complaints, man. It like didn't do a lot, but the gaming that we did do was a lot of fun. So, and
Blink in the chat reminded me I also finished Sentinels of Freedom, which is based on
Oh fuck yeah.
Adam's IP, Sentinels of the Multiverse. I put it in the review scores list. I'm not going to do an official review on it, but it's a 4.
Oh, Adam corrected us in the chat too. It wasn't the year 2020. It was in the distant apocalyptic future of 1999.
Oh no.
Dude, it was
the moon
legit.
blasted out of Earth's orbit.
Yeah, it was crazy. So
Funny.
that game's weird. I might throw it on Samurai Saturday at some point just to show it off, but it is a fucking weird game.
That is so funny.
Anyway, because the reason we ended up playing it too is because I was like, there's literally no samurai games on the Super Nintendo. And I say that kind of, kind of facetiously. There's like three samurai games on the Super Nintendo. One of them is Nobunaga's Ambition, right? Which is kind of like a no duh. But then you've got First Samurai, and then some other shit that we've found that was really terrible. But yeah, there's just nothing.
Sorry.
So
Yeah, I got that Star Wars drank.
Yeah.
Blue milk.
Yeah.
hell yeah. But current events, boys. Anyone have any current events?
Yes,
Current events.
I do.
What do you got?
Current
I'm
events.
very
Oh, I
excited
know.
about.
Let's hear it.
Mega Man Battle Network is coming to the Switch.
Yes.
Yeah, I was pretty excited. I almost immediately contacted you, and then I had to go off to work. And I was like, "Oh my God, Zach is going to pee his pants." when
Oh,
he says
Josh, I
this.
definitely did. I was exploding with
shit.
excitement.
I was really excited. I'm about to buy it too, or when
Yeah,
it comes out.
it's-
I'm like, why
I
not?
love those games.
Those games are a lot of
so
fun.
much. They're so different than
Yeah.
any other Mega Man game.
Well, yeah, because they're RPGs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The perspective is great. The
Mm.
story is great. To
The
have
battle
them all-
system's really fun
the battle
too.
system's really rad. Like
Yeah.
you were playing Super Saiyan Densetsu, and I was like, oh, this is like Battle Network, but just DBZ. This is cool.
Kinda, yeah.
It's
Though
very similar.
Battle Network has like positioning and stuff too, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
cool. Yeah.
For combinations and stuff. It's really rad, and I cannot wait to just casually play my way through those. I am still planning on bringing Battle Network 2 to the stream at some point down the road.
Nice.
But I'm going to play that on the original cartridge on the Retron and stuff.
Hell yeah.
But it'll be really nice to play those on Switch. I also have one other little minor note. Prime Day is tomorrow, so if you're watching this live or tomorrow when we post it, Paul, you can get the Mass Effect trilogy for free.
Yo, what?
Mass Effect
Prime
Remaster
Day?
is free on Prime
What
Day.
does Prime
what?
Day mean?
PC,
Oh, just
I
on
believe.
PC? Yeah. Okay.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
take advantage of
That's
that.
a big maybe. I don't see. I watched
maybe for
Adam
me.
play the first Mass Effect
Oh,
back
the
in the
first one's
day.
rough. The first one's real rough.
Okay.
Really?
I
I thought that was the
honestly-
best one.
Oh God, no! Driving around in the stupid tank. I think we nicknamed it John. Driving around in John was the worst.
Regardless, I mean that turned me off from Mass Effect forever. So
I love that franchise. Mass Effect 2 is in my top 5 games of all time, up there with Mega Man and Metroid. And I am so happy to be playing it on stream right now. But yeah, I mean, to take advantage, I mean, free game,
Yeah.
3 free games.
Wait, so to my knowledge now, Mass Effect 1, you just said was bad. Mass Effect 2,
okay,
I hear
no,
is one of
Josh.
the best games of all time. And then Mass Effect 3, everyone's like, the ending ruined the series. There's really only one good game in this fantastic series. Like, what?
dude, I'm right
No.
there with you, Josh.
That's like, we
99
love Zelda, but only Ocarina of Time. The rest suck. Like-
99.99999% of Mass Effect 3 is delightful.
Okay,
It's
that's what I've
really
heard.
good.
I've just heard so many people, like hardcore fans, get to the end and be like,
And honestly-
"This is like Lost." They literally
No,
are like,
it-
"This is like Lost, the show."
That is
Where
the
you're
most.
like, the
that is-
ending is so.
That is so hyperbolic. That is not the way I see it.
Is it?
The-
like, fuck you, I won't fight to the death.
The
to
ending
defend this.
is not where you want it to be, but it's like, okay, fine, whatever. Mass Effect 1
okay. It's
Mass
not
Effect 1
egregious.
is still like
Okay.
the main story stuff is really fun, but driving around in that stupid tank ruins so much of it. I started with Mass Effect 2 though. The first one I played was Mass Effect 2.
Which I hear is literally a flawless game.
It's so good. I mean, like if I were to review it right now, I'd probably give it a 9.8, which is
Damn
my
sexual.
and I do want to play. I want to do absolutely everything in it.
Only a 9.8. Hasn't played any Zelda games. I'm just kidding. Doesn't know what a 10 is, I see.
No,
Josh.
9 so comics grading,
Oh.
Josh. 9.8 is
Oh, gotcha.
the best you can.
As high as you should be
Yeah,
able to get it.
because everything has room for improvement, no matter how good it is.
True.
Totes my goats. Joshua.
News, you say? I have a
News,
cool
or
one.
I mean, it doesn't have to be news. Just
yeah.
a current event, something cool that you.
Here's a current event that no one would really know about unless you're following in the community. But so me and Colin and Spicy Wolf and all them, big modders or modding community people at least. This one has been in the works for years, and I didn't realize it was coming out till this month. And it is a big one for people that are just nerds and like RPGs. But Skyrim Online Co-op mod got released on Friday. And so I know there has been like co-op variations of this mod, but this is the full server online mod, as in like how we were doing Ocarina of Time and all that.
How
So
is that
I have
better than
never
Elder
beaten
Scrolls
Skyrim.
Online?
So apparently it is. Apparently because you can play the entire main campaign together and all the main story missions and anything that's in the one-player campaign. So, but I totally understand. I haven't played Elder Scrolls Online, and it may very well be like the exact same thing. But Colin is telling me like, if you're a fan of the base game, like in what Skyrim was initially, like that's what we get co-op. And it's like the same as Elden Ring as far as like how deeply co-op it is. So I was like, okay, I played like the first mission in Skyrim back in the day when it first came out, and I haven't played it since. So we're gonna do this. Spicy actually gifted me a copy of Skyrim. What up? Shout out to Spicy. So as soon as I get back, I'll be doing that. So it's not like crazy news, but I think it's cool because it's been a long time coming for Skyrim to get such a massive update. It's been getting lots of mods, but it's never gotten a full integrated co-op mod. So really excited to play that on mod loader too, which is gonna be really fucking nice.
Oh yeah,
that's neat.
That is really cool. It's like an upgrade for us because so we actually have Wind Waker now, which we haven't played yet, but like that's the newest game aside from Skyrim, and Skyrim is like a PC game. So it's like, holy shit, mod loader is like pretty hardcore. But that's really my news. Just more fucking co-op gaming stuff.
That's the best kind of news to me.
That is great news.
Right?
So for me, we had something developed today in regards to the Assassin's Creed franchise.
Died.
No, well. So Ubisoft removed Assassin's Creed Liberation HD from Steam.
Why?
This is a game that was on sale just a few days ago for 75% off, and then now you can't download it or play it.
75%.
Sure. So now, and you know, even people that previously owned the game couldn't play it either. Now they've gone back and fixed that, but the reason. And you know, you won't be able to buy it anymore, but if you did previously buy it, you can still play it. That's cool, right? But the reason I brought this up really has nothing to do with Assassin's Creed or Ubisoft. It has to do with the state of digital gaming and why it's so important to own physical copies of games.
I know. I can't stress this enough. This is why people are like, why do you want to go to GameStop just to get a cartridge? I'm like, because then I have the game.
Yeah.
And what concerns me now is we have the technology to simply put a download link on that cartridge.
Yeah.
So it's still
and literally, yeah.
That scares me to death.
Well, I mean, you kind of see that with the Mega Man collections, right? Some of the Mega Man collections are half of the games are on your cartridge, and then you have to download the other half. Sometimes you even have to buy the other half.
What?
You know? Yeah, that's crazy.
Madness.
And it's only digital, so you can't get a cartridge of the second half of the collection.
What if it's no longer supported eventually? What if like 15 years that link is just no longer supported? Then you no longer have the game.
Exactly. And
except my Super Nintendo game, I have Super Mario World like right here all the time. It's like, you know what I mean?
Well, but also like, you know, Mega Man 1 through 6 were on Nintendo, 7 was on Super Nintendo, 8 through 10 were on PlayStation.
4 through 10 are on PlayStation.
I mean,
fight.
4 through 10.
Oh, X. You're talking. Oh, I'm sorry. You're talking original Mega Man. Yeah. Sorry. X 4 through 10 are on PlayStation.
Yeah. And so I'm like,
well, there is no X.
Have absolutely
4 through 8.
4 through 8. Yeah. I have no way to play any of those PlayStation discs. Sony hasn't supported it.
That's the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hate that. This is why backwards compatibility is like chef's kiss.
So
but like the words are like no longer like ringing true to people. They're like, but I have a PS5. What's backwards compatibility? Because I have like my Game Pass or whatever the fuck it's called. So like, you know what I mean? People are gonna soon forget that that's even an option. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, put this old disc into a new console. Of course you can't do that. That doesn't make sense. But to us, it's like, yeah, the Wii is like can play 3 different consoles worth of gaming. Like, it's kind of a thing they're trying to. Oh, this is bad. They're trying to phase it out just so they can maximize on the money from remakes and stuff. More drink.
You sound like Cartman.
That's so funny.
Oh my god. I mean, while I'm here, might as well take advantage of the service.
He gets whatever.
Okay, I'm live on TV. More of that blue drink. Thank you.
That's so funny.
The other day, I mentioned that. The other day, I mentioned that my 7-year-old niece was playing Link's Awakening on the Switch, and I pulled out my Game Boy cartridge to show her what. She's like, "What is that?" I'm like, "This is how this game was originally."
Yes.
And the current generation has no idea what a cartridge even is.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I love that Game & Watch thing they just made. I love when they come out with
I love
those.
it.
It's not a new version. I hope they do one every year. Like, I hope we get a Metroid one this year.
I would
That
love
kind of
a
seems,
Metroid
or a Kirby
I would-
one. I think those
I
are the
would buy
ones that line up.
Metroid.
I would buy that. I regret not having gotten the Super Mario Bros. One, but it's a cool way to like remake a game without remaking a game, and you get to show like, no, this was a black and white game or green and black game, and you literally are going to play it as old as possible. And yeah, I wish more newer generation people would be like, no, I want to play like the retro version of the game so I could really get a feel for how it originally was. But sadly, remakes are kind of the way. God, I love Link's Awakening because of that, though. It's a good medium.
Yeah.
I'll shut up now.
Oh, you're good. That's pretty much all I had to say on the subject. Just buy your games digital.
Yeah.
I mean, physical if you can.
Wow, the
Avoid
literal
digital
opposite of
at all costs.
yeah,
The
If you can
whole
help.
the whole PC Master Race thing
Yeah.
is a scam. Like,
it is.
yes,
Well,
it's
like
awesome to
Steam-
play games on PC and you can do really cool things, but like at any moment your games could be gone. You know?
I got an umbrella.
Nothing but the best when
Nice.
you visit.
Thank
so
you.
enjoy.
But I would agree. Like, unless there comes a time where you can literally write all that information onto your hard drive. Like, my Switch was like, copy it onto your Switch permanently, and it will never get deleted. Like one of those things. Then it's like kind of like buying the game. But the point stands that it's like in the cloud. It's always going to be in the cloud, and you'll never be able to truly grasp that game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. Josh, you ready to do a review, my guy?
Let's do it. I got my umbrellas. Yeah.
All right. Here, let me hit play on
Alright.
this.
Does Cuphead have
This is
umbrellas?
what I'm excited for. Yes. Are we doing it? Do we have my footage?
Yeah, we're
Oh,
doing
wow.
it. Yeah,
we
we
do.
got, we got your
Damn.
footage for the first time in God knows
Oh,
how
am I
long.
fighting the wizard on expert? Oh shit! This took me 2 hours to beat.
I guess we know what
wizard
we'll be
on
watching.
expert. Yeah, you'll be watching this wizard for a while. I can only tell it's expert because of how fast I restart. I'm like, yeah, I did beat it though. So hi everyone, and welcome to my review. And today we are going to be reviewing the entirety of, but also the DLC specifically of Cuphead, and the DLC being called The Delicious Last Course. This came out on June 30th. So if you've been a Cuphead fan, you played a game that was in development for 7 to 8 years, came out in 2017, and was incredible and well polished. And now you are playing a 4 to 5 year development DLC. Like, can you say another game where the producers took 5 years to handcraft DLC that they then charge you $7 to buy? Like, absolutely. I just have to start with that the amount of care that went into this game far outweighs the amount they're charging their clientels. Like, just so you know, if you're a Cuphead fan, you don't even need to watch the rest of the review. But if you're not a Cuphead fan, let us begin. All right. So yes, we're going to be reviewing Cuphead. Again, The Delicious Last Course. This is Studio MBHR, which is Moldenheimer is the last name of the two brothers that created Cuphead. These guys are really amazing in my mind because they kickstarted this game forever ago, 2011, 2010 even was the earliest concepts. And they kept wanting to like push it. And for those who don't know, there's a documentary about Cuphead on YouTube and maybe even Netflix, I can't remember, where these guys, they literally like put mortgages on each of their houses and like have like Kickstarters from all their friends and GoFundMes and all that stuff just to pay for this game to even have a chance. And when they were given the opportunity to drop this game, they continued and like put even more effort in it. So to me, this is like developer 101 right here, where if like they wanted something beautiful and their vision to absolutely not be smudged at all, and they went full throttle into that. I can only say that about a few other companies, obviously Nintendo, the guys that did Hollow Knight, and a few others, but like these guys would have died to see this game come out as it did, and it's really cool to see Studio MBHR like be such a passionate company. So anytime you guys see that name in the future, I highly recommend keeping your eye on it. Although I don't know when we'll ever see another game by Studio MBHR. Although they have said they want to do other non-Cuphead games in the future. Just to give you guys some backstory on them, this came out, it says the 29th. I thought it came out on the 30th, but maybe it was 29th in other countries. And then the initial release was on September 2017. Again, this game his total been, including the DLC, been in development for about 11 years, which is incredible. let's see. I played this on Steam, but you can get it on literally everything. The Switch, PS4, 5, OS X. What the actual fuck is that? Xbox One, Windows. And not to mention, they are actually coming out with a physical. Should I know what that is? A physical
Yes,
copy.
you should.
It's Mac OS.
Oh yeah. That's why I just don't care. They are coming out with a physical. This is what I really wanted to get initially, but it just didn't come out on launch day, and I had to play the DLC. But the Switch is coming out with a physical version of Cuphead, which includes all of the game, including the DLC, all on one card, so you don't have to download any DLC or anything like that. I think that's genius. Like what Paul was saying, if you really love Cuphead, I will be buying this physical copy just to have it on my Switch. But like, it's just awesome that this is a full game now. Where I would have said it was an indie game before, this addition of the new island and the DLC like really fills it to the brim. Like absolutely a full game now. Where it was pretty much a full game before, but you know, really full now. Let's cut through all the less fatty parts. What did I like about the game? Okay, let's start out at the beginning here. Cuphead. For those, I'm going to try and make this review as quick as possible, although I could literally take an hour to talk about this game. Cuphead is a concept that these guys who loved old cartoons came up with. Basically, you see these old like rubber hose animation style cartoons and these old like styles of comedy, the slapstick and just ridiculous over the top cartoon comedy where, you know, like a guy's head will explode and he'll be covered in black soot and he'd be blinking through the soot, like that kind of thing, you know, where things are so over the top and ridiculous, but they work because it's a cartoon. So now these guys took that concept and they're like, what if we literally made a game out of that? And like everything was hand drawn and perfectly framed so that this looks like you're playing a cartoon that you would be watching in the 30s. And they fucking nailed it. Some of these boss fights, I know the Floral Frenzy boss fight, which is like one of the more famous ones because of the song, which like won awards and stuff like that. This boss, I think, has like 1,200 frames, just the boss itself. Like 1,200 individual frames that are all like hand-drawn and/or graphically animated by hand. And it's just like such an extent that these people go through just to make such like their vision come through. So if you've never seen Cuphead, just literally go watch the trailer for it and you'll be like, this is the most incredible, unique art style I've ever seen in a game. To where most of the time you punch a bad guy in the face and it like creates an animation and you're like, okay, I'm clearly playing a game even though it looks really good. Cuphead is literally a cartoon. And I do not even fucking understand how they make some of the seamless movements actually playable. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's the same thing. It's like, wait, this is literally a cartoon, but I'm playing it. How is he moving so fluidly when I'm beating him up and like, you know, the hitboxes, all this. Anyway, I digress, but like.
The technology is quite legitimately insane.
Yeah,
it's
insane.
I think Blink was in high
behind...
school when these cartoons were popular.
Yeah, probably, right? Probably college. No, I'm just kidding. But the whole point behind the game is that, like, behind the animation at least, is that this game was not easy to make. It like they could have had this idea and half-assed it, like a lot of other people had with the old cartoon style. They they took their time to individually create each scene so that it is as flawless as possible. And it was an 11-year process because of that, all the way through to the end of the DLC. Aside from that, the gameplay is flawless. If you guys are bullet hell fans, you're psychos like me. It's one of the most sadistic genres of gaming literally ever. But if you like getting shot at by every fucking angle and just figuring out which direction to go to avoid all 10 of those bullets at the same time and just feels so damn good to succeed through that, then this is the game for you. This is a game where literally like, 10 dudes have a gun to your head and you have to dodge all of it and you feel awesome at the end of it and you did good. You know what I mean? But like at the beginning, there's no way to beat these levels. So overall gameplay is a boss rush, bullet hell with some levels, but for the most part, a boss rush where your skill is important. I would say this is the Dark Souls of platforming, where Hollow Knight kind of follows in the adventure route. Cuphead has the like. It's not necessarily Dark Souls in the Dark Souls way, but it's Dark Souls in the way that like you will only beat these if you persevere. You will only succeed at this game if you truly want to and you want to persevere. And the satisfaction you get is insane. Like how many times I've beaten a boss and been like, fuck yes, like it just innately screamed it out after I beat it, not knowing that beating was coming. And I'm just like, this feels so good. Incredible. What else? Visuals, music, all the music was orchestrated as well by Christopher Madigan. He's part of the MBHR team. I bet we'll see him again. But he's literally just a one-man composer with like a little band they hired. And comes up with the most incredible ragtime stuff. Music is flawless in this game. I can't even express.
I can listen to that soundtrack on repeat, which is not something I can say from.
I can listen to that soundtrack a lot. I'll literally just put it on in my living room when I'm like getting ready and stuff.
Yep.
How was the story? The story is the only thing that it's kind of Mario-esque. This is the only thing that they kind of just slapped together because they knew that they couldn't have an intricate story for a game like this. So it is Mario-esque in that it's like Save the Princess style, where you get like a story and you do the story and you're done, but there's no like true intricacy to it. And the DLC kind of compounds upon that, where like in the beginning story, you get the devil who like tricks Cuphead and Mugman into basically like doing some task to collect souls for them. And then they beat him in the end. The second one is similar. I won't spoil too much, but Chef Salt Baker, I think his name is, just so well animated also. I can't even express. The DLC also takes a jump up in animation, just a little bit. But he basically tricks you into collecting these ingredients to make like some soul stealing cake or whatever. And then you fight him and win. But it's absolutely incredible. So the story is literally a cartoon. Speaking of which, the Cuphead cartoon came out coinciding with this game. I don't know if you guys knew, but in the last month, I believe, the Cuphead TV show came out on Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
I watched it and was a little weirded out.
You have to check that out.
Yeah, you need to check that out. Part of me is like, it's a 20s style cartoon, and it's really like, hey, Mugman, I'm fast talking, and it's fun, and the animation's really good. And the other part of me is like, this is still a really kids cartoon. And then the third part of me is like, why am I looking at Cuphead if a gun isn't coming out of his hand and he's killing a boss? So like, I both think it's an awesome show and think it's kind of kiddie, and also think it doesn't need to exist at the same time, basically because like, it's like with a Donkey Kong show, you know what I mean? Like, oh, Donkey Kong show, that's great. But like, can I play a platformer while I watch that show? Because that's really why I like Donkey Kong, you know what I mean? Like, to me, that's why I like Cuphead, because of the game. So not hating on the show. I definitely think it's worth trying. I was interested, but I was also really tired when I watched it, but I would check it out just because it exists. It was made by a different team than MBHR also, but it was given like producer rights. Let's see. Story, gameplay, the art. Yeah, we went over the art was absolutely just phenomenal, like unheard of in this day and age, to the point where there was a game called Enchanted Portals that was kickstarted. And I actually talked to the devs on this game. I think I told you guys on the podcast years ago. It's been like 2 years in development, maybe 3. It's almost like, it's not a clone, but it is kind of ripping off Cuphead a little bit in how it looks and feels. And it is a bullet head and a boss rush. But so many people saw it and were hesitant to accept it that they were like kind of pushing back on the devs, and the devs apparently like never developed on it because they were so upset that people were saying it was a hack or it was a copy. But to me, that art style and that unique like vision is really like, now it's unique to this kind of genre because of Cuphead. So I mean,
if you think about it, even if they are like one for one copying the style, the amount of work they have to put in to make another game like this, to hand draw that many frames of animation, like it's a different fucking thing. It's like that's different. A whole
and not to mention, it's like saying like, wow, this really good game came out. It's one of a kind. And then someone else is like, okay, I really loved that game, so I made a game like that. It's not one of a kind, but it's very close to that game. I'm going to be like, well, I really loved the first game, so yeah, of course I want to play the second game. I don't care if it's not the same company. Now the genre is 2 instead of 1.
Yeah,
so
it's like Souls games, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like just like Souls games, where it's like, as much as we love playing the From games, if another company drops a Souls-like game and it's not From Software, we're immediately like, interesting. Like, now I'm kind of down to try this because someone else is kind of bring this kind of genre to life. That being said, Enchanted Portals did not make it off the floor. I actually did talk to the devs. I think I just said that. And I was like, if you need play testers or any kind of like marketing people or anything to push your game, I would love to do that. And that was over 2 years ago, and they talked to me a little bit, but they've been saying it's been on hold. And then I looked up a YouTube video recently that basically said the bad publicity kind of like pushed the game down really hard. It's not dead, but like it really sucks because as soon as I saw it, my first instinct wasn't Cuphead ripoff. It was, yes, more bullet hell, old school vibe. I was like, I don't care if it's worse than Cuphead in literally every way. I still want to play it. That being said, so basically it's a hard genre to follow because of how unique it is. Like, in how this game is so unique that as soon as someone sees something similar, they're gonna be like, oh, you're ripping off Cuphead.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? Cuphead ripped
Well, it's
off
not like
Contra.
Cuphead
Like-
invented the bullet hell. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Like,
Yeah,
literally Contra.
Cuphead ripping off like Gradius, you know?
Yeah,
or-
Gradius and shit. And people are like,
Yeah.
oh, but that's the thing. So there was
Yeah.
the video I watched on YouTube talking about like a time variant. So there's like one called like Crone Man or something like that literally looks like Hollow Knight, but it's not coming out till this year. And it's a roguelike adventure, a Metroidvania, and it literally looks exactly like Hollow Knight. But the guy was like, notice how this game like is Hollow Knight, but it's coming out 5 years later, so no one is calling it a clone. These people were like, Enchanted Portals, you're coming out next year after Cuphead's release. You're cloning Cuphead. And then everyone's like, dude, there's like 100 Mario clones that were never ridiculed. Like, I think it's just so ridiculous. But what it does say to the testament of Cuphead is that it's such a powerful juggernaut that like the slightest inkling of copying like makes people like up in arms. They're like, holy shit, no, this is our game. And I do respect that. It's a very powerful fan base for this game. So it says something about it at the least. Although I do wish there was the capability for more like copycats, honestly. Let's see. Art, music, sound design is really on point. Like everything you'd expect to hear is there. Every boop, every shot, every blip, every bloop. Also, the gun sounds like move really well with the songs, so you don't feel like any of the interactive sounds, like shooting or bad guys dying or enemies attacking you or anything like that, interrupt the song at all or interrupt any of that. Like everything flows very well. Bad guy sound effects are absolutely incredible. Like you hear like that, it's like why yada, like all that kind of crazy like 20s stuff. And
yeah, it all
so
sounds like
good.
period appropriate for the style, which is awesome.
It's very modulated, but like it's basically the only thing I wish they had done, and maybe they did, I don't know, is use old timey microphones.
Yeah, I think they
like the old tin cans, like
I do feel like they undistilled some of the sounds. I know they did that with the visuals, but I'd be curious to know how they did with the sounds. But like, I feel like every time they looked at a scene, they were like, "Is this period appropriate? Like, is this something that would have been made in a cartoon?" I can't help but feel like just like everything I see like feels like so visually and like audibly, I can't even speak, appropriate. You know what I mean? Like they really did put their care into it. But that's interesting.
I'm looking at
it. Yeah. Let's get some facts. Let's see what else. Sound. How long did it take me? So this is the funny part about Cuphead. It's one of the hardest games ever made. The DLC took me about 4 to 5 hours, and now I'm just to beat. And now I'm working on it on Expert, and I think I'm 4 hours into Expert, and I have 2 bosses left. So I'm going to say the DLC is about 10 to 15 hours worth of content, honestly. And then the main game, I beat in 25 hours on my first playthrough, which is like pretty good for a platformer. Now I can beat that game in an hour and a half. So it really is a scale of like intensity grading. Like some of these bosses I now can't do poorly on, but that made me like take 50 attempts to beat in the first place. And now I can't lose once. It's one of those games where like you really learn it. Like all these bosses, like Paul, you were like, maybe you should fight an easier boss. And I was like, nah, I just gotta like try and just like fight the same boss over and over again until you like learn slightly or more and more slightly at a time. I can't even speak tonight. Words are hard. But you know what I mean to say. And eventually you learn how to get through all these sequences. And that's just what's so cool about Cuphead. There's like no way to beat it right away. Just like a Souls-like. You're like, I'm gonna just kill this boss. It's like, no, you're not, because you don't understand how this boss works. You don't know his sequences and all that. Which I appreciate, because like you go into a Mario game or some easier game and it's like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna be able to beat this boss. Probably won't lose a health. It's like, whatever, the game is so easy. I'm just gonna have to figure it out. But like these Souls-like and Cuphead-like games, it's just like, it really expects you to learn, and it will beat you. It will fuck you up because you can't learn right away. And I think that's beautiful. I think that's an amazing way of gameplay. Like you shouldn't be able to just beat something right away. If Cuphead was a game where you could beat every level right away, it would be a 30-minute long game with no replay value. And you know what I mean? Yeah. Like it doesn't feel like it totally negates the same thing by being easy. Let's see. Oh, was the game difficult? Cuphead is one of the hardest games of all time. In my opinion, I think it's the hardest new platformer. I think that Contra and other games with 1 health are still harder. I will say there's a new item that gives you 1 health in this game, which is fucking awesome. I forgot to mention that the DLC brings a few more charms and weapons that kind of enhance they either give you an easy mode or a hard mode. And I really like both of those options. There's like a weapon that gives you all the guns at the same time. Like every time you shoot, it changes the gun.
Oh, wow.
Sick. It's
That's-
really cool. Yeah. So basically just shoot until you get the gun you want. Instead of just having 2 guns equipped and switching between the 2, you can have any gun. And it has like all the charms equipped at the same time. It's like OP mode. And that's from the DLC. And then there's also like the hard one, which is like that, but you have 1 life. And then there's like super easy mode, which is Miss Chalice, the new DLC character, where she has 4 health. She has a double jump. She can parry sideways instead of like jump parry. So Cuphead's is a little more precise. I still do prefer playing as Cuphead. I think it's just how I learned. I watched a YouTuber who was like a pro at it. He like a jillion% of the game, and he still was like, I think I just prefer that original style. So it's not just me. Miss Chalice is a different way of playing the game. So if you get the DLC and you don't love her, I think that's fine because she is like a new character. She doesn't play like Cuphead and Mugman, which is fine. And then would I play a sequel? Like, are you fucking kidding me? I've been waiting for this DLC for 5 years. I would play anything that Studio MDH made. I literally, no joke, will play anything they release, like any game. I think that is a fact. They are an incredible company, and now after this, they're 1 game. Imagine making 1 game and becoming such a big company because of it, and getting so much notoriety from 1 game over the course of 11 years. Absolutely incredible. On top of that, oh no, my phone died. What was the last one? Was just the rating, I think. On top of that, yeah, they just put in so much work that I can't like imagine them making a bad game. Last but not least, we have the overall rating. So just to make sure, this DLC is basically kind of what we're rating it off of, although we're doing the whole game as a whole for the most part. Altogether, the DLC adds a lot of content. If you're a Cuphead fan, but you're wondering why you should play this, it's 6 bosses plus 5, maybe 6 like mini bosses, the parry bosses, and just the whole new island. Also, it adds fast travel.
Those parry bosses were cool.
The parry bosses are really cool, and they like really train your skills. I feel like too, like as far as your jumping and timing, that's just like something I needed. Like having not played in a while, playing those guys all in a row, I was like, oh shit, this is really awesome. This like trains you into the game. And not to mention, so you add fast travel because the guy in the boat who's like on each aisle, you click on him and he's like, which island do you want to go to? So you got fast travel, you got Miss Chalice, you have some new, oh, look at my background. That's funny. You have some new, that's funny. Every time I, during my stream, I click on anything but the game, it like shows you my desktop. It's so ridiculous. Yeah, the game is, I forgot what I was saying. It's just amazing. It's absolutely worth the money. You're paying $8. You're paying $8 for this DLC. There's a package on Steam, $26 for all of it. I can't express how worth it that is. If you haven't played Cuphead, that's just a no-brainer. I'm sure on G2A you can get this for cheaper. And of course, I believe it's going to be $30. We will get a physical copy for the Switch in the near future, like this month, I think. I haven't seen it, but they said it was supposed to come out with the DLC, so I'm guessing any minute now we're going to get that. Overall, no matter what you're paying, this is worth it. I'd pay $100 for this game, even though it's so small for me now, and I still think it was worth it. For overall rating and impression, it's really hard with this game. I would say the DLC only enhances the score. So I would give the base game. Here's the thing. What don't I like about this game? Like literally nothing. It's really hard because like some of the weapons are just not for me. So I can't really hold points against it. You know what I mean? And some of like the mechanics are just not for me, but then the game gives you options to not use those. So it's really hard to say like this holds me back when there's another way to play for every single player. I'm going to be straight up here. Overall rating and impression, probably a 9.9. I'm not even kidding. I think this game is that good. I think that without the DLC, it's probably a 9.8. I'd probably give it a 9.9 with the DLC because although it could be a flawless 10, there are still like some things that are like, ugh, kind of grueling and tough to get through. But again, part of the game and part of like how the game experience is, so you can't really hold it against them. Like just because some things are grueling and tedious doesn't mean it's like bad. Like that's what the game is expecting of you. So I would say this is a near perfect fucking game, only made better by the DLC. Yeah. For $8, if you already have the game, go enjoy 10 more hours of incredible content. 9.9, Lord Yeshua said it himself. This is one of my favorite games of all time. It's literally in my top 10 games of all time. Cuphead.
It's in mine too. I've never beaten it. I'm god awfully terrible at it. But that's the other thing. I still have to rate it at like a 9.6. It's so fucking good.
So good. Here's the other thing. If if you do love this game enough to beat it, and I'm not saying everyone can beat it, and it has nothing to do with you as a gamer or anyone, but when you finally beat this game, it's just such a self-satisfaction reward. And then when I finally beat this game on Expert and I saw that 200% on Cuphead, I was like, I am a gamer. This game made me a better gamer. Like I can handle hard games.
So that's how I feel about Souls games. I feel like they legitimately made me a better gamer in general.
Yeah. When I tell people I beat Elden Ring, they're like, "Oh shit, I didn't get past the first boss." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's right. That's right." That's how I feel about Cuphead, where people are like, "You're playing this on Expert?" I'm sorry, what? And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. This is the best game, and I don't want to stop playing it." And that's how I feel, even though this game may be out of content now, and the rumor is there is actually more data mining being done in this game, and it has more quality of life enhancements that could be patched in the near future. This is just from like data miners and leakers and stuff like that. Maybe not. If this is all the data I get and this is all the updates I get, this game is a 9.9 in my heart, and I will never stop playing it. Even if the DLC never came out, I would still go back to this game all the time.
Yeah.
Absolutely a must-buy for platformer fans. If you're into hard games, must-buy. If you like aesthetically and musically pleasing games, a must-buy. Even if you like Mario, a must-buy, honestly, just because of the concept.
Or simply if you are a fan of classic cartoons.
Literally, I will watch streamers play the bosses sometimes because then I can actually look at the entire scene. Because like when you're in it, like you're like, holy crap, and then you don't have time to process because so much is going on.
Yeah.
And then just being able to watch these scenes, sometimes just like, holy shit, I can't believe this is happening in a boss. Just the amount of movements being like drawn in and shown.
The first time I played that game, I busted out my old animation textbook and just would pause the game and just look things up because it is
like, oh wait,
perfect homage.
It is really a perfect homage. I will say it is somewhat graphically designed in some of those aspects, but 99% of it is like hand animated at least.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
absolutely a stunning game. It should set an example for future games, in my opinion, where like that care and hand taken technique should be like really, really treasured. It's something that the gaming industry needs a lot more of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I hated this game.
You hated it?
Yeah. But that's not to say saying it's not a good game. It's an excellent game. It's just not a game that I'm good at, and it's not my like I was saying at the beginning of the show, I'm not really into bullet hells, and this is like the king of bullet hells. And it is so it's just not my style, but it's an incredible game. It's so fun to watch. So but
watching it is
I'd still probably I don't disagree with your score though. I think
I honestly
as far as execution is concerned, it's hard not to give it that. So
I was hard pressed not to give it a 10, honestly. I had to just be realistic.
I mean, the fact that we, like you said, there's data miners and stuff out there that are saying, oh, there's still some quality of life improvements.
Could be a 10 eventually.
There is still improvement to be had.
Yeah, definitely one of the best games I've ever played in my life, though.
All right, let's switch back real quick. So we've come to the part of the show where we would normally get into our topic, but we're already over an hour, and it's late.
Are we?
Yeah.
Did I take that long? I can't even see the clock on my. Oh my god, I was.
It's quarter after 11, dude.
Yeah.
Oopsies.
That's all good. So we'll revisit. I think this is a good topic, so we'll revisit it next time. But
it'll give me a week to think about some better questions.
There you go.
Put these together today.
But just for reference, the topic was going to be last time we did the kind of like cinematic techniques that you see in video games from movies and TV, and this would be the reverse of that. So the kind of techniques and cinematic angles and such that you might see in a video game appearing then now in TV and movies. So,
and chat, help us out. Like if you're in our Discord, throw questions in there. We've got a questions channel. We're announcing our topic a week in advance, so help us out with some of these questions. We'll go deep on them next week.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Ooh, yeah, do that.
Anyway, thanks everyone for joining tonight. If you're watching it live, you're on my Twitch channel. I play video games on Tuesdays and sometimes on Thursdays. Saturdays we always do Samurai Saturday, so we're playing samurai games. I think this week I'm going to do like a variety stream because I kind of want to finish up the game that I was playing, but that won't take me very long, and there's a couple silly games that I want to try out, including that god awful game we were playing on Super Nintendo the other day. So yeah, I'll probably do a variety stream on Saturday with Samurai Games, and then we're back on Mondays for the podcast. There may be some changes coming soon to the podcast, so keep an eye out for that. We'll keep you guys updated on that. Yeah. Anywho,
next week I'll probably be in the same shitty setup, honestly, and then back to normal after that.
Word. So if you're watching it on YouTube, make sure you share it and, like and comment and subscribe and all that. But sharing it's really important for us. Get the word out there. If you enjoy it, share it, with the homies. So
if you don't enjoy it, share it to your enemies.
Yes.
They'll enjoy it.
And then if you want to yell at me on Twitter, it's at Ryugami-sama. So that's where you can find me. Josh, where can we find you, my guy?
Yes, this is relevant now. Find me at Lord Yeshua and Lord Yeshua TTV on all my socials, where I'm actually streaming now. Catch me streaming in the mornings and on Monday through Wednesdays at various times. But generally before 5 p.m. Mountain Time, you can find me streaming platformers, co-op mods, and that actually sums it up. Unless something fun Zelda-y comes out. But yeah. Catch me there. Say what's up. Scream at me on all the socials.
Sweet. Zach?
I'm on Twitch at Another Letdown. I will be live this week for Mass Effect 2 on Wednesday night at I'm hoping to go live about 5 in the afternoon Eastern time. Fingers crossed. And maybe streaming something on Friday. I'm not sure. And then definitely Saturday for miniatures painting. I will be working on finishing up some classic X-Men characters. I got Cyclops up on the old stand. I changed my camera angle. I think it's a little bit better. So we'll see how that goes on Saturday at about 10.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out. Have an awesome night. We'll see you guys next time.
Woo-hoo!
Goodbye.
See ya.